the banking public and regret the inconvenience that this may cause or certainly is causing bank customers. But let me put it this way. The cashless policy in Nigeria is not new. It was first launched in 2012, and several engagements were held across multiple stakeholders before we started this policy in 2012. Indeed, it was by my predecessor. I didn't start it. At inception, charges had always been on deposits and withdrawals. And this started since 2012. Withdrawal charges have been in place. Only deposit charges are new today, and I will explain. I said at inception, when it was contemplated, if you deposit money in a bank above a particular threshold, in which case for individuals 500,000, for corporate 3 million, you are charged. For withdrawals, if you also withdraw above a particular threshold, you are charged. Since inception in 2012. But it got to 2014, after receiving some engagements from different stakeholders, we agreed that it was too early to begin to charge people who want to deposit money in the banking system, because we agreed at that time there was a lot of cash outside the banking industry, and that there's a need that there's no need to penalize people who would like to bring their cash from outside the banking industry into the banking industry, that we should relax the essence of charging people for depositing money in the bank, but retain those who want to withdraw cash from the bank. And indeed, I understand that was what India did. But eventually, we expect that over 5 years, from 2014 to 2019, all the cash that would have been kept in people's pillow, under their mattresses, by 5 years, we should have been able to bring them back into the banking industry. And that's why we're saying at this time, we would like to return back to that. So what I'm saying is, what we're saying today is not payment channels and online digital marketplaces. Today, permit me to say that small and medium enterprises and other businesses have various options and channels available to them for collecting legitimate payments for goods and services, like bank transfers, using the POS, using the mobile POSs or mobile cash, mobile money, the USSD codes, and the QR codes. Indeed, it is in the public interest to promote an efficient payment system via the cashless policy, which helps to reduce the punitive cost of cash processing, often passed on to bank customers via deposit money. 2012 and 2018 reveal that the cost of currency management in 2014 reduced by 13% when we first introduced it, when we were talking about deposit, right? Due to the introduction of the full cashless, including charges on both deposits and withdrawal in the 6 cashless states throughout 2013. From 2015, following the withdrawal of the policy on deposit charge in 2014, through to 2018, currency management costs have continued to increase year on year at an average annual growth rate of 33%. That is certainly too high. Notwithstanding, since the cashless policy was first launched, electronic transactions have increased substantially within the economy. And we'll give examples. For instance, POS transactions increased by 4,692%. And we're talking about 2.27 trillion naira, from just 48.6 billion in 2012 to 2.3 trillion naira at the end of 2018. Second, electronic transfers increased significantly by 1,967%, and I mean 76.5 trillion, from just 3.8 trillion in 2012 to 80.42 trillion in 2018. Check transactions have reduced by 32%, by about 2.45 billion, from 7.48 billion in 2012 to 5.03 billion in 2018. Financial access points, ATMs, POS, agents, and mobile cash across each cashless policy states, these 6 states we're talking about, have also witnessed exponential growth. So what we're saying is that we have provided alternative channels, and people have indeed embraced it. Another data conducted before we even came up with this limit says that close to 95%. So when people talk about other SMEs or the weak or the vulnerable are going to be badly affected, close to 95% of cash deposited or withdrawn from banks fall within, that is below this threshold. So only about 5, maximum 10% of people are those who are complaining that this is going to weaken, and they know what that purpose is for, and we don't want to deliberate on that today. Financial inclusion has also recorded significant improvement in Nigeria. According to IFINA, financial inclusion has increased to 65% from just 40% 18 months ago. Whilst inclusion rates in cashless policy states are in line or above the national average as follows. For instance, in Lagos, where cashless is 85%. In Abia, is 74%. In FCT, 68%. So the other areas are those that are having low financial inclusion rates, and there's a need for us to deepen financial inclusion, and to do so also means that we have provided enough channels on the basis of which people can begin to go cashless. This is a strategic timing of these actions, because on Monday, September 23rd, the mutual evaluation of Nigeria by GIABA on the country's anti-money laundering and CFT regime will begin. Passing the mutual evaluation positions Nigeria as a state, as a safe and credible destination for financial transactions across the world. What does that mean? GIABA will be in Nigeria on Monday, 23rd of September, to access and evaluate the rate at which Nigeria has embraced anti-money laundering and CFT regime. It is important that we display and show to them that Nigeria is indeed in conformity with their practices as enshrined in the anti-money laundering and CFT laws. What does that also mean? If we do not do what we are doing today, we will soon get to a point where if they pass us negative, even your so-called cards that you carry abroad, you may not be able to use them. So it is in our own best interest that we should be seen to be working in line with best global practices, so that we can have a comfortable and convenient life in future, which are punitive and often passed on bank customers. 6. Anecdotal evidence of proliferation of e-channels on lifestyles. We've seen it happen. For instance, we've seen a reduction in the use of checkbooks, physical visits to branches of banks, because people can easily use their phones and conduct banking transactions. We've also seen on POS, we've seen POS proliferation across all merchant locations, in restaurants, in schools, in churches and mosques, hospitals, petroleum stations, even in petty traders. They have all embraced the use of mobile cash, M-Cash. We've also seen increasing use of digital channels in the sale of goods and services. Some of you even do bank transfers on your mobile phone, even when buying gala and plantain chips in the traffic, and you know it is true. Now, the fees have been reintroduced only in cashless policy states right now, only the 6 states. Okay? And we are determined to ensure that financial inclusion is deepened in the country. Full cashless policy shall be implemented on March 31st, 2020, following thorough multilateral stakeholders and nationwide scooping of financial access points, which have significantly increased over the years. And like I had said in some previous interviews, this is a fraudulent transaction, and all Nigerians, all right-thinking and progress-seeking person in any part of the world must condemn a fraudulent transaction like this that would result, that according to the arbitral award, would result in almost taking about $10 billion away from the reserve of a country like Nigeria. And you all can imagine what it would cost. We are talking about a fragile economy. We are talking about a fragile growth. And some people, whether they are Nigerians or some foreign people in collaboration with some Nigerians, if they decide that this is an approach they will adopt, I think we should fight it. And I'm happy that the EFCC, the Nigerian Police Investigation Department, as well as Central Bank's Economic Intelligence Department, have very strong, credible evidence to adduce fraud, as well as corruption in terms of money changing hands from these disgruntled foreigners and Nigerians. And we have received presidential go-ahead that these people should go through criminal prosecution in Nigeria and in any part of the world.